Megan from Fine Designs by Megan, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on how to get this triple split tumbler using patterned vinyl down here, a clear vinyl decal here, and then double-sided tape for my stripes on the back. I will link all the materials down in the description box so you can go there. There are a couple of discounts you can use on a few of my supplies that I use. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask them down in the comments and I will get back to you. And I hope you like my video. Thank you. I forgot to hit record on the part where I made my circle for my cup. But to make your circle for your half template, what you'll do is you'll get a piece of scrap paper, trace the bottom of your cup, cut it out, and fold it in half. Then you'll lay it on your tumbler, and I had already marked my sides. I'm sorry that you didn't get to see that, but what you'll do is you'll fold in half, mark your little each half, and then you'll get a flat ruler, line it up on your bottom line, and then that's how you'll mark your top lines. And then that way your lines will be perfectly straight and your halves will be completely equal if you do it this way. Now, if you do it a different way, do it your way. This is just the way that I find is best for me. Now what you're going to do is you're going to grab your painter's tape or your masking tape or whatever tape you use, and you're just going to line up your tape from bottom to top. Like I said, the lines will be perfectly even. It takes me a little bit to do this because I'm actually kind of blind and I can't put my face up close with it recording, so just excuse my taping issues. And don't worry too much about your bottom. We're going to work on our bottom later. So you're not going to have to worry about your bottom unless you want to do your bottom in half. I usually don't, but if you choose to, that's your choice. Okay, now that you have your painter's tape down, you're going to grab a piece of blank printer paper or notebook paper, whatever paper you have that's thin that you can see. You're just going to wrap it around your cup like you would do your vinyl. If you followed mine and you've seen how I wrap my vinyl, I just wrap it around it and I set my cup flat, push the paper to the bottom, and I wrap it. That way it's perfectly even on my bottom. And I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm just going to go around the whole section of my painter's tape, and it will make like a line where your vinyl is. And then that way, once you go to cut out your vinyl, your section's going to be perfectly measured out right. So now I'm just going to cut out that little section of the size of that, and then I will grab my piece of vinyl and add it on there and then measure out exactly how I need my vinyl piece to be. Now the vinyl that I'm going to be using, I got this from the Vinyl Craze. I will add a link down in the description box. And if you follow that link, you can get a discount on this vinyl. And so when you go to do your stencil on the back, you're going to want to flip your section or your little stencil. You're going to want to flip it and mirror it. And then that way, when you go to cut out your little vinyl, it will be exactly the size of your little section down there. Sorry, got me tongue twisted for a second. And I just see exactly where I want my vinyl piece to be, and I will stencil, or I will trace that out onto my vinyl in the back. And then that way I know exactly that print area that I want on my cup. And I'm just going to cut that out. And like I said, make sure you mirror that, or when you go to cut it out and you put it up to your cup, it's going to be opposite of what you need. So if you mirror it and you trace the back, it's going to line up perfectly like that, how it lines up, and you don't have, it opposite. Believe me, I learned the hard way. I've had to throw so many out. So now that I have it even and I laid it out and I have it even, I'm going to grab 2 small sections of painter's tape and I'm just going to tape that down. And then once that is taped down, what you'll do is you'll fold that top corner and you'll cut just a little piece of the carrier sheet off, and then you'll just smooth that corner right back out onto your cup. You'll just smooth it on out there. And then once that is smooth out, I use my squeegee to lay my vinyl. It's just something that I've grown to do. If you want to use your fingers, you can do that. I'm just going to use my felted squeegee, and make sure you use a felted squeegee when you use your or do it on your printable vinyl, because then that way you won't scratch up your vinyl, because you can scratch up your vinyl if you're not careful. That's why I always set something underneath my cup when I'm working with printable vinyl to make sure that it doesn't get scratched up. Okay, so then you'll just smooth your vinyl out. And I did cut mine, when I cut my vinyl, I cut it a little bit extra, just a tiny bit on the sides, and that way, for, you know, if there's any accidents and somehow I don't have my vinyl on right, it will still cover up each area. Okay, and that's just something that I do. You don't have to do that. That's just what I do. Now I'm going to smooth it out, make sure I have no bubbles. If you do get any little bubbles and you can't smooth them out, just grab your X-Acto knife and just make a tiny little poke into your bubble, and then squeegee that bubble right out, and it heave down perfect. You won't have no worries about epoxy getting under there. You'll be all good. But that's how I get out my little bubbles, is doing it that way. Okay. Okay, now just make sure your vinyl's completely smoothed out, and you're going to grab your trimming tool if you have one. I'll post a link to where I got mine. I got mine on Amazon. I'll post a link to that in the description box. And then I'm just going to trim up my edges of my vinyl and pull up my excess. Don't worry about if your lines are perfect or not. You're going to be covering that with washi tape. So do not worry, mine aren't perfect because I'm blind and I can't put my eyes up real close to it with me being on camera. Now that that's done, you're going to move on to your first section of glitter. And I am going to be using PDB Frost glitter. And I'm just going to glitter my top part with Mosh Podge. And before I glitter, I am going to get some painter's tape, and I am going to cover up the top part of my vinyl, and then that way I don't have to worry about any glitter or Mosh Podge getting onto my vinyl, and it'll keep my vinyl looking all pretty. Okay, and I am going to use the Mosh Podge brush by Mosh Podge. It's always puts my Mosh Podge on pretty smooth. Those are the brushes that I use, but you can use whatever brush you choose to. That's just the one that I like. And I'm going to rub my Mosh Podge on, or brush my Mosh Podge on, and I'm going to do it as smooth as I can, and then I will glitter my glitter on there. Once you have it completely glittered and you let it dry, I let mine dry for about 30 minutes after, and then I will spray it twice with triple thick Rust-Oleum spray paint. And I'll spray it, wait 15 minutes, spray it again. Sometimes I even do 3 when I'm using white. But I will seal it with that. And then once that's sealed, then we can move on to our stripes on the back. But that's just what I do. If you want to use a quick coat, you can use a quick coat, epoxy, whatever. That's just what I use. And make sure you pull up your painter's tape while your cup is wet. It'll keep your lines crisp. Okay, on to the stripes. I'm going to be using this 1/2 inch double-sided tape from Mr. Nolas Glitter. I'll attach a link to that too. And I'm literally just going to grab it, and I'm going to start at one edge of my cup. And I didn't realize I was off screen a little bit. I'm sorry if I go off screen a little bit. I'll try better next time. But I'm just going to line it up from the top, but I'm not going to put it right at the top because I want my epoxy to be able to heave down to my tumbler. So there is a tiny, tiny gap between the top part and my line of my tape. And I'm going to do it from one edge, from the white glitter to the other edge of the white glitter. Do not worry about your tape being perfectly done right there, okay? Because you are going to be covering up these lines with vinyl or washi tape or whatever you choose to line it up with. You're going to be covering that up. So you don't have to worry too much about it being completely perfect, because no one's ever going to see that perfect lines, okay? And I'm going to go from top to bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my permanent marker, and I'm going to be using Double Dare from Peachy Olive, Teeg from Peachy Olive, and Basic Blackboard from Peachy Olive. Those are the colors I'm going to be using for my glitter. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my jars, have them ready, and then I'm going to grab my permanent marker. But first, what I want to do is I want to figure out exactly how I want my pattern to be. And for me, I counted how many lines that I had, and then that way I knew exactly how I wanted my colors to be, like in order. And so once I figure out my pattern, I'm just going to go and I'm going to mark, you know, pink, or P for purple, G for green, and then B for black. And then once you got it marked and your pattern's done, I am going to start with my dark color first. So I'm going to be starting with my black color first, and I'm going to peel up the section, the carrier sheet, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to pull that paper up so I can have all my black ones exposed. I start out with the dark color first. That way it helps with contaminating my other glitters. I really don't want black in any of my glitters. And so I'm going to pull up all of those pieces of paper for all the black ones. And then once you get all of your papers off, you're going to start laying your glitter. Now, for me, when I was actually doing this, I figured out another way to go ahead and put my glitter on. So I am just going to sprinkle my glitter on each section. And the best way to do it, instead of having to put your glitter on, go back and press, put a little bit of glitter on your first spot of your tape, and then just pull and rub your glitter with you and press down on your tape as you go, and it helps and it saves you so much time, which I learned that halfway through this. So you'll see me in one section I'll be doing that, and then on the beginning I'll be tapping, but it worked like a charm and it made it so much easier. And now you're going to go through all of your tape and you'll do all of your black ones first. I do grab a little brush and I brush off the glitter that goes on to the smooth spot of the tapes beside it. You do want to try to clean that up as much as you can, because when you go to put your other glitters on, it will save you from contaminating your other glitters. So I do brush some of that off with my brush, and I also have a little poofer. I call it my poofer. I don't really know the name for it. I'll attach a link in there or into the description box. I got mine at Michael's, but they do have them at Hobby Lobby too, and they do have them on Amazon. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on glittering my cup, going down it, doing all of my black lines, and then when I get to the bottom, I'm going to grab my Mosh Posh brush and my Mosh Posh, and I am going to Mosh Posh the bottom, and I'm going to glitter it black. That's just what I'm doing on mine. If you want to do yours different, go ahead and do yours different. This is just what I wanted to do on mine, and it also kind of just makes it easy. You have your glitter out, you can do it that way, and that's what you're going to see. And then I'm going to move on to my green and purple, which you're going to see that in the rest of the clip. And then when I'm done with my stripe steps, I will go on to the next one and explain that to you. Okay, and then once I get my glitter done, I'm going to epoxy it. I'm going to seal it twice, epoxy it twice, and then I'll be back to show you guys the next step. Okay, now that it's epoxied and it's smooth, I'm going to be using washi tape to do my lines. I like using washi tape. For one, it's fast, easy, and convenient. And then I'm going to be adding that decal, which is a clear vinyl decal. I got it from the Vinyl Craze. I'll attach a link below. And I'm just going to do my front part with my washi tape first, and I'm going to go from corner to corner, and I will lay my washi tape. Once you get that laid, you're going to want to trim that up on each side. Now, I trim mine a little bit, not perfectly on the line, but a little bit over, because I know I'm going to be adding my lines going down the side, and then that way I won't have to, you know, go back and cut and all of that. So I'm already going to have that cut and ready for the next one. And then once you get your purple line trimmed up, I like to do 2 colors. You don't have to do colors. I just choose to do 2 colors. I like my stuff to pop. And I'm going to grab a thinner washi tape, which I got my washi tape at Hobby Lobby. It's where I get most of my washi tape for the solids. And I'm just going to center it up, and I'm going to lay it straight down my purple. And then I will do the same thing. I'm going to trim the edges up, and then I will start doing the same thing that I did on the front with my washi tape. I'm going to be doing that on the sides of that, covering up my lines on the sides. And then I will add the same pattern of washi tape. I will add that onto the bottom below my spider web. Okay, y'all, now once your lines are done, you're going to get your vinyl decal. It is clear, and just like a water slide, it's going to, when you epoxy it, you won't see your lines, and you're just going to want to line that up where you want it, and you're just going to press it like you would regular vinyl, press it down in the middle, and then smooth it out with your squeegee tool. If you get any little air bubbles under there that you cannot get out, you can poke it with your X-Acto knife and get the air out that way. If you want to trim around it, you can trim around it. But the amazing things about these printable decals is you don't have to seal them with any sealer. You can literally go straight into epoxying. Now, I do put 1 coat of triple thick on my washi tape because for some reason the epoxy likes to extract from that, and you don't want that. So I do seal my washi tape before I do my epoxy. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going to epoxy it 1 time and it will be done. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. There'll be plenty of videos coming soon. Thank you for watching, guys.